So here's a random question for you. Insurance. What does that word mean to you? To me, what it means is you're gambling that things might happen and you are going to pay someone to ensure that if something happens to you, you're taken care of. So, commonly we think of health insurance, car insurance, renter's insurance, homeowner's insurance, dental insurance, things like that, right? And obviously in the news right now, a huge discussion, a topic is about the coming insurance rate increases, which have been said to be brought on by the Affordable Health Care Act, also known as Obamacare. And it frustrates me because the main thing Obamacare was supposed to do was make healthcare insurance cheaper, because healthcare in general is expensive. When you get sick and need something done for you, it's not cheap. I'm not going to go into the specifics of why those costs are probably so exorbitant, but I'm going to talk about the Affordable Health Care Act and its fundamental problems. So, the goal of the Health Care Act was to cause the health insurance companies to have a insurance policy for everyone in every situation. Namely, there are people who unfortunately have a medical crisis in their life currently. And with the old healthcare system that we had in this country, you might be so sick or so in need of healthcare services that when you go to sign up for health insurance, the health insurance companies screen you. And if you have these pre-existing conditions, they would look at you as a loss. They would say, if we charge you $500 a month, but you already require $1,000 worth of services of every month, we never make our money back. So for the insurance company, it's a lose for them. You got to remember, the idea behind the insurance companies is that the people who they insure are in general healthy and not needing the money that insurance would pay to take care of you. It's the same for all other insurances. Car insurance. You don't get in an auto accident every month. And so you pay insurance just in case you do get in an accident, because the cost to repair your vehicle or replace it is very expensive. But the car insurance companies take a gamble. They look at your driving record. They look at your ticket record. They look to see if you're a young driver who might be more apt to driving recklessly. And they put a risk factor on you. Very much the same as a health factor for people. And based on that factor, they determine a rate for you. just like healthcare companies used to do. And if you were such a driver that had such a bad record that they didn't think they would ever make money, the car insurance company might simply tell you that they're not going to insure you. You're too big of a risk. Now, normally what they would do is they would just charge you a huge amount of monthly fees for them to insure you. So again, the idea for the insurance company is they want to take the gamble on you. They're going to weigh the risk versus reward. And then based on your risk, they determine a cost. And that cost is a monthly cost for you in order to have their insurance. This is all pretty basic. Fundamental, really. Now, health insurance. The changes made to health insurance forced companies to have policies for everyone. Meaning that if you had that pre-existing condition, which normally no insurance company would take you because there's no amount of money that you could afford to have insurance, that they would still be profitable in having you on their plan. So it was decided that what they would do is penalize companies if they didn't have plans for all individuals. Now, if you're the healthcare company and you have to meet this regulation, what do? Well, it's simple. You have this influx of people who before couldn't get insurance, who now can, and they're going to, because they need the care. And they're going to flood the market. Well, their care is expensive. And the insurance companies are now losing lots of money. So much so that it's no longer profitable for them to exist. So, one of two things happens. You either quit the insurance industry, or you rate hike all of the other customers, the ones who aren't sick, the ones who have had healthcare for years, and now they're going to pay more. And everybody did. Well, the thought process was that this law, which would open the door for all these people who otherwise wouldn't get healthcare or couldn't afford it, the law was also written to penalize anyone who didn't get health care. So, there are lots of people who gambled. And they thought, I can't afford $500 a month for health care. So now, I'm just going to say, heck with it. I don't need health care. And they took the gamble. Well, the law was supposed to force all of those people into the market by forcing them to pay. That was what was supposed to keep costs down. So when they wrote the law, they knew that all these sick people coming onto the market and into the insurance companies, that they were going to require increased costs, and then they wrote the law in such a way so that the price offset was going to be penalizing all these people who didn't buy insurance. Whether it was because you didn't want it or because you didn't need it. Well, the funny thing is that the law had to keep getting rewritten. They had to keep changing parts of it because Congress people started realizing that if they increased the rates of all these individuals, they may not get reelected. So they changed the penalty structure. And they made it so that, you only had to pay a small percentage of your yearly income as a fee. Now, if you don't make a lot of money, your yearly income might be low enough that your fee for the entire year is less than a single month's worth of healthcare coverage. And the fees were supposed to escalate. They were supposed to get larger and larger every year. Well, again, they didn't make these fees high enough. So after 5 years now, we still don't have the influx of individuals who are paying that additional cost that they were supposed to absorb. So, after 5 years, the insurance companies, who are still losing more and more money, they need another rate hike. And now, something that was termed the Affordable Health Care Act has made healthcare almost completely unaffordable unless you're poor enough for the subsidies that are offered by the plan. Well, those subsidies, like I said, are coming from somewhere. They're coming from the government. And where does the money come from for the government? From you and me. Jack and Jill, law-abiding, tax-paying citizen. So, the Affordable Health Care Act, which, funny enough, made something that was optional now mandatory, was supposed to make things that were expensive cheaper, has completely failed. Not only is it not mandatory because the penalties aren't high enough that people are actually paying them, but it's driven up costs for everybody else who already was paying for healthcare. Gotta love government bureaucracy, man. So, why this topic and why this day? This topic is brought to you by the FDA. I spent my entire day doing regulatory paperwork because the government regulates the industry that I work in. And I have nothing but contempt for overregulation. And with our current situation that we're going to be electing a president here soon, I can't help but say President Hillary Clinton would be much worse for healthcare, and just about any other president would be much better for healthcare. Anyway, guys and girls, I'll talk at you later. Take care. Bye now.